Welcome to Car Comparos. Today we'll be comparing the Maruti Suzuki Ignis versus the Baleno. Pricing and features. The Baleno Delta Petrol is priced at 6.4 lakh rupees on road Delhi. Now at the exact same price, you can either get the Ignis Zeta manual or the Ignis Delta automatic. On one hand, we have the Baleno Delta with extra features like parking sensors, automatic climate control, rear wash wipe defog, electrically folding mirrors, and auto up and depinch driver's window over the Ignis Delta AT. While on the other hand, there's Ignis with the AMT automatic gearbox. The fact of the matter is that you will be manually changing gears over 20,000 times in a month, whereas you won't be operating AC or folding mirrors manually for even 200 times. Performance and drivability. Both petrol cars are powered by Suzuki's accomplished K12 engine. Since their curb weights are also in the same ballpark, there is hardly any difference in terms of performance between the two. The K12 is a global benchmark when it comes to small capacity petrol mills. It is remarkably refined and always willing to rev up to the red line. It is a bit short on low end torque but makes up for it with a punchy mid-range and a ballistic top end. However, the automatic petrol versions of the Ignis and the Baleno are worlds apart. Baleno uses a CVT, that is continuously variable transmission, while the Ignis uses an AMT, that is automated manual transmission. The CVT is a joy to use around town with seamless power delivery compared to the AMT's intermittent power transmission. But on the highway, the Baleno suffers from what is known as the rubber band effect. If you floor the accelerator on the Baleno during an overtake, it just makes the engine spin faster without any boost in acceleration. The AMT on the other hand just drops a couple of cogs and gives you an instant kick just like a manual gearbox. Both diesels are also powered by the same 1250cc multijet diesel. It is a reasonably refined power plant, has a potent mid-range, but it gets going only when pushed about 2000 rpm. Where the Ignis trumps the Baleno is that Maruti has AMTized the diesel Ignis as well, making it the perfect combination of hassle-free commuter within the city as well as a turbocharged overtaking weapon on the highways. The Baleno sadly does not offer a diesel automatic option. Fuel efficiency. Both the Ignis manual and automatic petrol have an ARAI certified mileage of 20.9 kmpl, which is 0.5 kmpl less than the equivalent Balenos. The diesel Ignis manual and auto have a certified fuel efficiency of 26.8 kmpl, which again is 0.5 kmpl less than the Baleno. Space and comfort. The Baleno has slightly more spacious interiors than the Ignis. However, the Ignis itself has been packaged remarkably well with more than adequate knee room, headroom and shoulder room for 5 full-sized adults. Its higher hip point makes ingress-egress easier than the Baleno and provides better under-thigh support to the rear occupants as well. Both cars have utilitarian but durable interiors. Only real advantage that the Baleno holds over the Ignis is that its boot volume is a good 81 liters bigger than the Ignis is. Handling and ride quality. Ignis is no match to the Baleno when it comes to dynamics. Baleno has a longer wheelbase and a wider track than the Ignis. This translates into better stability and composure over the bumps and ruts. It also makes the Baleno better around the bends than the Ignis. Ignis's tall stance gives it more body roll than the Baleno and it starts understeering earlier than the Baleno. Suzuki although has done well to ensure adequate ground clearance and generous tire size on both the cars considering the pathetic state of our country's roads. Reliability and after-sales service. Maruti Suzuki is a legend when it comes to after-sales support in our country. Add in the typical Japanese reliability factor and you end up with the most hassle-free car ownership experience in the market. Both the Ignis and the Baleno are sold exclusively from Nexa showrooms, which gives them a slight disadvantage in terms of rural sales reach. But otherwise, you just can't beat either of these cars in terms of overall service support. Resale and cost of ownership. Baleno being from a segment above the Ignis and given the fantastic reception that it has received from the crowd is bound to hold slightly better residual value than the Ignis, which is why the Baleno Delta manual works out to be 50,000 rupees cheaper than the Ignis Zeta petrol manual in terms of overall ownership costs. However, the Ignis Delta AT petrol works out to be just 25,000 rupees more expensive than the manual Baleno Delta. Importantly, the Ignis Delta automatic diesel works out to be 35,000 rupees cheaper than the Baleno Delta diesel manual. That brings us to the verdict. Today, the Baleno petrol manual is the preferred variant of car buyers in this segment. But now, with the advent of the Ignis, those who are yet to make a choice should give the Ignis diesel automatic a long hard look. Firstly, it will take away most of the fatigue of your daily commutes by eliminating the constant need for clutch and gear operation. Secondly, it has 75 Newton meters of additional torque over the Baleno petrol, which also arrives 2000 rpm earlier than it does in the petrol, making it an absolute cracker on the highways. In spite of these mammoth advantages, it costs a minuscule 15,000 rupees more than the Baleno petrol over a usage of 75,000 kilometers over 5 to 7 years. How then can we not declare the Ignis diesel automatic as the winner of our comparison?